and find even temple harmonium is working properly. This is something very rare in our day and age. So Perth is really exceptional temple. And nice to see so many devotees. Of course, I suppose it's happening on account of Saturday, day off. But I think for devotees, best thing is not to work, but be fully engaged in devotional service. Right? How many of you favor this idea?
Next year.
Next year? Actually, tomorrow we're going to be discussing. There is an option how you can fully dedicate yourself to the mission and serving Krishna and earn even more than when you do your job. So we are continuing. We are reading 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5, frustration of the sacrifice of Daksha. And which text are we on?
We should read 11 and we chant together 12, and if 11 doesn't have any problem.
Okay. 12 is on board, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Om Gyantimirandasya Ginandana Shanaka Sukshiramaditam Vina Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Saditam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakaram Ayam Dadati Swapadantikam Panchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vijay Mahaprema, Guru Vibhuri, Manchatiya, Purusha, Mukta Gana, Sudasa, Sudasmaka, Krishna Bhagavan, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, Canto 4, Chapter 5, Frustration of the Sacrifice of Daksha, text 11.
Sure.
11 without purport. Amarshayitva tam asaya tejasam manyuputam turnirishyam bri kutya karala damstra bir udasta bhaganam syatsvastikim kupayato vidhatu. The gigantic black man bared his teeth. By the movements of his brows, he scattered the luminaries all over the sky, and he covered them with his strong, piercing effulgence. Because of the misbehavior of Daksha, even Lord Brahma, Daksha's father, could not have been saved from the great exhibition of anger. Text number 12. Please repeat. Bahpe bam udvigna drisho chamane.
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 Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana. Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana. Utpetur utpata tama
Sahasraso.
Utpetur utpata mas Utpetur utpatatama sahasraso.
Utpetur patama sahasraso.
Utpetur utpatatamam sahasraso.
Utpetur patama sahasraso.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Bhahevam udvigna drishachamane.
Bhaveham vignashashamane.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Utpetur utpatatama sahasrasho.
Utpetur patama sahasraso.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparya.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Bhaktevam udvikna drishochamane.
Bhagavevam vignashashamane.
Nadakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Utpetur utpatatama sahasraso.
Utpetur patama sahasraso.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Bhaktiram udvikna drishochamane.
Bhagavevam vignashashamane.
Dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Utpatama sahasraso.
Utpetur patama sahasraso.
Divi bhumau chaparyak.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Bahuevam udvigna drishtyochamani.
Bhagavevam vignashashamane.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Utpetur utpatatama sahasraso.
Utpetur patama sahasraso.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Bhava evam udvikna drishochamane.
Bhagavevam vignashashamane.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana.
Utpetur utpatatama sahasraso.
Utpetur patama sahasraso.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Any ladies?
Bhagavevam vignashashamane. Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana. Utpetur patama sahasraso. Vayavaha divi bhumau chaparyak.
Bahu
Bahu
much.
Evam
In this manner.
in this manner.
Udvigna drisha
Udvikna
with nervous glances.
with nervous glances.
Uchamane
Uchamane
while this was being said.
while this was being said.
Janena
Janena
by the persons
by the persons
assembled at the sacrifice.
assembled at the sacrifice.
Dakshasya
Dakshasya
of Daksha.
of Daksha.
Mohu again and again.
Again and again.
Mahatmana
Mahatmana
strong-hearted.
strong-hearted.
Utpetuhu
Utpetuhu
appeared.
appeared.
Utpatatama
Utpatatama
very powerful symptoms.
very powerful symptoms.
Sahasrasha
Sahasrasha
by the thousands.
by the thousands.
Vaya avaha
Vayavaha
producing fear.
producing fear.
Divi
Divi
in the sky.
in the sky.
Bhumau
Bhumau
on the earth.
on the earth.
Cha
Cha
and
and
Paryak
Raya
from all sides.
from all sides.
Translation purport. by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
While all the people talked amongst themselves, Daksha saw dangerous omens from all sides, from the earth and from the sky. Purport. In this verse, Daksha has been described as Mahatma. The word Mahatma has been commented upon by different commentators in various manners. Pira Raghavacharya has indicated that this word Mahatma means steady in heart. That is to say that Daksha was so strong-hearted that even when his beloved daughter was prepared to lay down her life, he was steady and unshaken. But in spite of his being so strong-hearted, he was perturbed when he saw the various disturbances created by the gigantic black demon. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that even if one is called Mahatma, a great soul, unless he exhibits the symptoms of a Mahatma, he should be considered a Duratma, or a degraded soul. In Bhagavad Gita 9.13, the word Mahatma describes the pure devotees of the Lord. Mahatmanastumam partha devim prakriti mashrita. A Mahatma is always under the guidance of the internal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, how could such a misbehaved person as Daksha be a Mahatma? A Mahatma is supposed to have all the good qualities of the demigods, and thus Daksha, lacking those qualities, could not be called a Mahatma. He should instead be called a Duratma, a degraded soul. The word Mahatma to describe the qualifications of Daksha is used sarcastically. Amarsha itvatam asahyate jasam manyuplutam durniriksyam brukutya karala damstrabir udasta bhaganam satsvastikim kapayato ubibhatu. The gigantic black man bared his fearful teeth. By the movements of his brows, he scattered the luminaries all over the sky, and he covered them with his strong piercing effulgence. Because of the misbehavior of Daksha, even Lord Brahma, Daksha's father, could not have been saved from the great exhibition of anger. Bhakvevam udvigna vishochyamane janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana utpetur utpata tamasa hasrasho bhayavaha divibumao chaparyak. While all the people talked among themselves, Daksha saw dangerous omens from all sides, from the earth and from the sky. So this is the description of the karmic reactions which Daksha and his followers will suffer because of the offense of Lord Shiva. And he persisted in his offensive behavior towards Lord Shiva, despite of even attempts of his own daughter to change his mind. And he didn't change his mind. And what was the offense of Lord Shiva? What was the wrong thing Lord Shiva have done? He was just absorbed in meditation on the Supreme Lord. And he didn't get up for Daksha. Right? That was the grievous offense which Daksha took so seriously. And it's an indication of very strong pride. Mada. It says that there are six main anarthas which we have to overcome in Krishna consciousness, and that is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Right? And so Kama, lust, Krodha, anger, Lobha, greed, moha, illusion, mada, pride, and matsarya, envy. And so mada, or pride, is very problematic. That another translation of mada is actually madness, right? Mada, madness, very similar words in English and Sanskrit. Whether someone is mad or mad, same thing. Mad, intoxicated with pride. So this is madness, that one becomes very proud of one's body, because what is the body? Just a bag of bones, right? And one is very proud of his body. So this is crazy. And unfortunately, it's something which affects every conditioned soul, no matter what the position is. And so Daksha was affected by this pride, and because of this pride, even small offense, it was not even an offense, even small disturbance, something he perceived as disturbance, right? Or threat to his prestige, he took so seriously that he became so offensive towards Lord Shiva, and even his own daughter could not stop him. And then, as we know from the previous chapter, and yes, that even though Lord Shiva had done nothing towards Daksha, and Daksha blasphemed Lord Shiva so badly, completely discredited him, Lord Shiva didn't do anything. He just stood up and he left. And so this is the behavior of a really great soul, that he's not affected by the behavior, crazy behavior of other people. That's why there is a proverb that the dogs are barking, but caravan keeps moving. Why should, caravan be so, affected by the dogs barking? Or like sometimes there are some crazy dogs, and you pass by car someplace, and then these dogs start running after the car and bark and even try to bite the wheel. I don't know if anyone saw that.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what these dogs are thinking of. I mean, if they try to bite the wheel will crash them, right? They're so crazy, they don't understand. And so, what the driver's supposed to do in the car? Just laugh, stupid dog. But if the driver will stop and try to, start yelling at the dog, then the driver must be mad also, right? So like that, if someone is sane, and one is not affected by insane behavior. I mean, after all, this material world is compared to two things in Shastra. One is, of course, prison house, but another comparison acharyas are giving is mental asylum. Right? So that's why it is not surprising to find some crazy behavior around ourselves. But it is very surprising that some people are not crazy. Some people are normal. This is very big surprise. And so that's why we are so fortunate to have devotee association, because in devotee circles we find normal people. So this is very good association. And so yeah, Daksha was behaving like a crazy man, but Lord Shiva was not disturbed. He decided, okay, not to agitate him any further, I better leave. Bhagavad Gita explains that Vishayam Pumsa Sangas Shupajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamakroda Vijayate, that by contemplating the objects of the senses, attachment arises, and from attachment lust develops, desire to enjoy, and from lust anger comes. Right? And so this was very typical, that Daksha was looking at Lord Shiva and he was attached to the idea that Lord Shiva should respect him by standing up for him. This would be very satisfying for his ego. Oh, Lord Shiva stood up for me. But somehow Lord Shiva didn't stand, because not because he was trying to offend Daksha, but because he was just absorbed in meditation. And because this happened, his lust was not fulfilled, then he became angry, right? And so Lord Shiva decided, okay, I am agitating him like that, so he's getting crazy, but he's supposed to be doing his sacrifice, okay? Let me leave and let him, cool down and continue with his sacrifice. So he left. He didn't care about Daksha. But Sati was very much disturbed, because it is described that devotee who is offended doesn't care about the offense, but other devotees should not be indifferent. They should take this offense very seriously. And so Sati wanted to help her father to change his mind. So she decided to go back to Daksha, and even though Lord Shiva was preaching to her that no point, he's not going to change, but Sati was still hopeful, and so she went, but her hopes became frustrated because Daksha was completely callous, and he didn't even want to talk to Sati, etc. And he continued with his offensive behavior and attitude. And so Sati committed suicide by burning herself alive. So this is where the Sati rite is coming from, right? And then, because Sati suffered so badly, Lord Shiva didn't worry about himself, but because of the Satis, leaving her body, Lord Shiva decided that Daksha has to pay for it. And so this particular chapter is a description of the karmic reaction, we can say, which comes from offending great souls. And so Lord Shiva, together with all his followers, and he has very horrible followers, demons and ghosts and all kinds of fearful creatures. And so they all went to the arena of sacrifice to punish Daksha. And also, on the top of that, before going, as it is described, it was described that Lord Shiva actually created one really fearful demon from few hairs from his head. And he told this demon that you should kill Daksha and his soldiers at the sacrifice. So this is what's happening, that Lord Shiva and this demon and all the other associates of Daksha, Lord Shiva, they go to kill Daksha and punish all his followers and so. And Daksha is described that he was very brave when he offended Lord Shiva, and he was very brave in ignoring his daughter. But now, when he saw who is coming, or when he saw what's coming, he was not so brave anymore. So he became worried. And it's interesting that this verse, Shukadeva Swami, that he is defining Daksha as Mahatma. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is actually sarcastic definition, that because Mahatma, real Mahatma, is a pure devotee of the Lord, described in the Bhagavad Gita, the verse quoted in the purport, Mahatma Nastumam Partadavi Prakriti Mashita, that Mahatma is one who is taking full shelter at the internal energy of the Lord, Daivi Prakriti. Srila Prabhupada explains that this divine nature or internal energy is Srimati Radharani. Mahatmas are ones who are under the shelter of Radharani. And they have certain symptoms, these Mahatmas, which are described in the next verse. And these symptoms are Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantas Chadri Davrata Namastam Bhaktya Nityakta Upaste. So first symptom of Mahatma is what? Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. What does it mean? Always chanting my glories, always doing kirtan. Like we have so many Mahatmas here, always chanting. And second symptom is Yatnata Shavdridavrataha. They're very focused on serving the Lord with great determination. And third symptom is Namasyantastamam Bhaktya, which means bowing down to the Lord.
Sorry, is it?
Bowing down to the Lord. So they are always glorifying the Lord. They are very determined in serving the Lord, but they are very humbly bowing down before the Lord and His devotees. So determination and humility amazingly combines in the great souls like that. And so we can understand that Daksha was not real Mahatma, because he was not doing that instead of the Supreme Lord, he was glorifying himself. And instead of determination in the Lord's service, his determination was towards his own sense gratification, right? And humility, naturally, he never had this humility. So, but Mahatma, Maha means great, Atma means person, right? So he still was a great person because he held a very big position. And so externally, he could be called Mahatma, right? Big man. Mahatma means big man. And Srila Prabhupada says that in India, even today, Mahatma people call someone Mahatma if someone is very rich, a lot of money.
Really?
Mahatma. Yeah, because if someone has a lot of money, one has very big position and one is greatly respected, right? One automatically becomes big man. And yeah, one is very proud of that position. If one is not a devotee. One time I was in Jagannath Puri, and those of you who have been to Jagannath Puri, you know that the central entrance, Simbadwar, Lion Gates, and there is a square in front of the gates, and if you stand facing the gates, then on your left hand side there is one corner with few shops, and there is a kind of elevated level there in front of the shops, kind of little area in front of the shops, open area. And I think there is some restaurant or something, and then some tables they have outside for dining. And some man was there sitting at the table, and that was long time back. That was in anyway, late 90s or very early 2000s, when mobile phones were not used, were not introduced. Still, everyone had to use these payphones, and so there was one man sitting there, and he was obviously very wealthy and some kind of prestigious guy, I don't know. He was wearing this very opulent silk dhoti with very thick borders, and he had like so many golden chains on. He was fully chained up on his chest, and like every single finger on his hands was with huge, like golden rings with gems. In India you see people like that, right? They want to exhibit how powerful, how rich they are. They want to show off. And this was one of these men, and he was sitting at the entrance of this restaurant and talking on the phone, but this was like the regular phone, and his servant was holding the base. He was sitting at the table, and his servant was standing and holding the base of the phone in his hands very respectfully, like that. And this man was sitting and holding, the phone in his hand, and he was talking very loudly. The entire square would hear, what the conversation. Hey, yes, something like that. And so everyone was passing by looking what's happening. Some people are like that. In India especially, you will find that they just had little money, and it just goes right into their heads, and they think, they're gods or something like that. And they try to show it to everybody. Of course, normal people, they just see, they understand. Stupid guy, but himself, he doesn't understand this thing, right? He's thinking, oh, everybody is respecting me so much. Anyway, but some poor people, they might be passing by and thinking, oh, this is Mahatma. So much gold he has, and he has servants, and etc., etc. And he's talking so loudly. So, yeah, in India it is like that. That sometimes someone who has a lot of money, he is called Mahatma, which could be actually a symptom of Mahatma, but not the primary symptom, right? Yes, Srila Prabhupada, definitely. He had a lot of money. When he came to America, he only had 40 rupees. But in few short years, as he says in one class, he got 40 crores of rupees. Right? So he had so much. Actually, we can understand he left this world being multi-billionaire, right? According to modern calculations. Krishna sent him so much wealth for doing the service, right? So yes, it is possible that Mahatma can have a lot of wealth, but the difference is that devotee does not become proud of that, and he still remains very humble and very simple, despite of his high position and everything else, because all these things are only external symptoms of one's devotion. Like one devotee, very sincere devotee from London. He's very wealthy. He's one of the wealthiest men in the world. He's a multi-billionaire, and he has a huge, very opulent house in Mayfair. This is one of the most prestigious areas in London. 6-story house with elevators and so many servants and golden staircase and everything else. You name it, everything is there. And a garage with Bentleys and Rolls-Royce cars and everything else. But when he comes to the temple, if you don't know who he is, you will never be able to distinguish him from other devotees, because he is dressed very simply, and his behavior is very simple, and he is very enthusiastic in chanting and dancing in kirtan. Sometimes he likes to lead kirtans also. And he always has great service attitude, of course very generous. Every time he comes to London, because he has to travel for his business worldwide. But whenever he is in London, invites devotees to his house, and it's quite interesting, like so many devotees come and they do tumultuous kirtan at Mayfair. Like all these super respectable people live in that neighborhood, and then devotees come and have huge kirtan there. And of course all the neighbors can hear. It's very funny. But, like serves all the devotees, and when devotees leave the house, his secretary is standing at the exit with huge stack of envelopes and gives every single devotee a donation, and quite generous donation also. Actually, temple management started discouraging devotees to attend his programs, because then, this going to his programs became, wrongly motivated. But nevertheless, he is so humble. Like, he comes to the morning programs, and one time after morning program, he's going home, and he just walks to the tube, to the underground station. And I saw that. I was so surprised. I said, "Where is your car?" He said, "Oh, it is too early for my driver to wake up, so I didn't want to bother. So I just got the pass for the tube. So I came by tube, and I'll go back by tube." using public transportation, no bodyguards, nothing. Very simple. And you glorify him for all his achievements, and he's doing a lot of service, and he gave a lot of money to ISKCON. And he says, I'm just a simple man. All this money is Krishna's money. I'm just managing it for Krishna and for devotees. So devotee, even though he can achieve all these opulences, but he's not considering himself to be one of these opulences, and he is very simple and humble. And funny enough, the same man, that he is described in business, and there are some newspaper articles that they say in business he is so super aggressive. He's like a real shark, like he can shred anyone to pieces. And it's unbelievable to see the same man being so simple and humble among the devotees. It's like Prabhupada says, a lion at chase and lamb at home. So this is how a devotee is. But he's very aggressive in his business because, if you deal with billions of pounds, not even dollars, you have to be aggressive, right? So that's just his job. But when he's with devotees serving Krishna, he's at home. And so this is the special blessing that for the devotees, that they don't become affected. But materialistic people, they become affected. And so that's why here Bhakti is described as Mahatma in a sarcastic way. That yes. Arjuna is described in Bhagavad Gita as Mahabaho, strong-armed one, and Krishna is also a little bit sarcastic. He says, your arms are strong, but you cannot think straight. What's happening? You're strong-armed, but you cannot even fight. You should be fighting with your strong arms, not trying to escape from the battlefield like that. So yeah, Bhakti is defined as Mahatma in a sarcastic way, because he is not real Mahatma. Duratma, dur means difficult, right? So Duratma, difficult person, right? And we know there are people like that, very difficult to deal with. So this is materialistic people. They are Duratmas, very difficult people to deal with. But devotee is Mahatma, great soul, and he is sharing his greatness with other people. Right? He makes other people's life also great. So whatever one has, one can share with others. So in this way, externally, someone who is externally Mahatma is not necessarily real Mahatma. So Prabhupada says, real wealth is love for Krishna. If someone has this wealth, then this is the topmost wealth. And so Mahatma is one who has love for Krishna. And definitely love for Krishna means love for devotees and compassion for other living entities. That's why the first three qualities of a devotee who is very dear to Krishna, as Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter describes, are Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, Maitra, Karuna Evacha. That first is that one never hates anyone, one never has any enemies, adveshta sarvabhutana. And Maitra, very friendly, and Karuna, very compassionate. So these are the first three symptoms of a devotee who is dear to the Lord. And so this kind of a devotee can be called Mahatma and not someone like Daksha. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments on this subject? Yeah.
Prabhu, with my limited understanding of reading this chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, I was thinking that because Daksha was scolding Lord Shiva, and he was angry with Lord Shiva because Lord Shiva did not follow the Vedas, whereby the Vedas require the son-in-law to pay respect to the father-in-law. Am I right, or am I not right? And that was the cause of his anger, of Daksha's anger towards Lord Shiva.
Yes.
I don't know whether
Yes.
that was my interpretation.
Yeah, externally, yeah, this was the calculation. And it's like he haters to Daksha, and definitely he's much more advanced than Daksha, and in so many ways Lord Shiva is superior to Daksha. But there is one external thing which makes him junior to Daksha, and Daksha is disregarding all the superiority of Lord Shiva, and because of that one thing, he is expecting Lord Shiva to pay him respect. And so it's actually described as Asura Varnashram, right? Asura Varnashram means people are only worried about positions, and everybody wants to have high position with which one can exploit everybody else, right? Asura Varnashram means that whoever is junior, I will exploit them. Whoever is equal, I will compete with them. And whoever is senior, I will be envious of them and try to occupy their position. So this is Asura Varnashram, right? Whereas Daivi Varnashram means whoever is senior, I will serve them. Whoever is equal, I will make friends with them, and whoever is junior, I will take care of them. And so, yeah, Daksha definitely had this Asuric mentality. That's why in this chapter he has to face a real Asura created by Lord Shiva.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions?
These demonic qualities and the divine qualities are there, but in us, when as a practicing, as an aspiring devotees, sometimes these things also pop up, right? Like how do we understand, how do we deal with that?
These things are
They also come up, like
demonic qualities.
yeah,
Oh yes, of course.
because we're not quite good. I mean, to speak about myself, we're not quite there yet. So during that time,
Yeah. How to deal with demonic qualities.
yeah,
Anarthas. Yeah. Yeah, these are described as anarthas, but this is the difference between demons and devotees, right? That material world means this contamination of the lower modes is always there. And so, but when demons, they, see in themselves lust, anger, greed, pride, illusions, envy. They want to cultivate these things. This is demon, right? They love these things. Like I saw an advertisement on billboard for one car. It was kind of new edition of luxurious car, and the caption was saying on the billboard, "Envy available now." So this is what it means, materialistic or demonic society, right? They want to cultivate envy. They want people to be envious of them, right? And they want to be very proud. Okay, I have something which others don't have. Let them be envious of me, right? And then if they don't have something there, they become envious of that, okay? And once they get that, they become proud. And last, Prabhupada was saying, it's so strange, like this old man, they already, like, they can hardly move. Still they go for like nightclubs and all these things to try to enjoy, Some guys even die in the process of that enjoyment, because their bodies and their hearts are, like, they're already so worn out by sense gratification, and they just die in the process. And so, yes, and anger, right? That people cultivate anger because they think, oh, if I do not become angry, if I become too soft, others will start taking advantage of me. So let me become angry. Let me, show my anger. Like one character which is very popular in this society is Grumpy Cat. That there is one cat, and somehow by nature's arrangement, this cat has very grumpy face, like that. And so this cat became very, very popular because it's a big fashion, amongst materialistic people. Be grumpy, and everyone will take you seriously. Everyone will be afraid of you. Like that. So, materialistic people, they cultivate these things. When they come across these things, they cultivate them. But devotee, yeah, he is facing all these things, yes. Material life means influence of lust, anger, greed, envy, illusions, pride comes by bad association, by previous whatever karma. But devotee doesn't want this. He understands these are the obstacles on the path of my devotional service, right? And devotee is trying to remove these things. So it's just a matter of attitude. That materialistic people, they run towards sin, and devotee is running back from sin, right? So it's just the direction is different, attitude is different, even though situation could be the same. Good question, thank you. All right, shall we stop here or something else?
Just a repeat of the senior mentality and ashram mentality for the junior, equal, and senior. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Well, we can say devotional mentality for junior is to take care, show compassion towards equal, make friends, and towards seniors, serve. This is what Narad Muni explains to Dhruva Maharaj. He says how the proper behavior should be exhibited. But Prabhupada explains in the material world, people if they see someone who is less fortunate, junior, they try to exploit, compete with equals, and be envious towards seniors. Like that. So it's completely opposite.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Maharaj, this care and serve, they're not a bit interchangeable. Like the care which juniors need to do, and the seniors are serving. The words look a bit interchangeable in terms of what's the thin line difference between the care and the serve.
Oh, service is meant for seniors and care is meant for juniors.
So, are we trying to say the care towards everything or towards the senior from the junior's side?
Juniors supposed to serve seniors, do whatever seniors say, and seniors supposed to give shelter or look after the juniors, right? So that's the proper relationship. It's like surrender and shelter, they are connected to each other. So junior is supposed to surrender and senior is supposed to give shelter. Alright? Hare Krishna, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande.